You check. There we go. I see mine. Sleep. Maybe that was you. All right. You got it. Coming at you with a race. And set. Go. There it is. Swap the camera between two two separate builds on a computer. Zombie. We're in the middle of the Kiss Europe piece. Classic. Yeah. From Team Experimental. They are out on the classic course with a large group, like trying to chase down M. Larson, Austrian Cartwright, Boniface, as well as that's it. And the group looks to be quite actually today. Hedgehog, Gentrum, Van Bon is in there as well, out of the Netherlands. Race day in it looks like. So a lot of super riders. They're just heading past Buckingham Palace. It looks like Boniface. Because he raced GTR right before this, and
yeah.
So hey, we need to welcome the Shed Man. How's it going, Shed Man?
It's good in the shed over here. Yeah, it's not too bad. A few little challenges there to get set up, but it's good to be here. And Brett Boniface was just racing against many others in the ZTR, where they were doing 3 loops of the London Loop course.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a Tim Cartwright trying to put down a bit of pressure as they come up the climb past Horse Guards Parade. Looks like he's trying to keep onto the wheel of M. Larson, who is just ahead of him in that category, as it looks like Jay White, coming out of Great Britain, has just popped a featherweight power up as we crest over that little bit of hill just before we turn right onto the strand to complete. These guys are going to complete their second lap out on course just now in the A category.
So, quick good morning to everyone out in the world of with some Zwift live racing with the KISS EU Night Race right now. We are sitting with the lead group in the A category right now with Mr. Tim Cartwright. Hammering away at the front of the race with Austrian M. Brock Larson, Boniface, Sonic the Hedgehog, A-Ron is all here, and there are a few riders starting to fall off, heading in out on course. It's completing, the boys and girls are going to be completing 5 laps of the London Classic. This EU night race goes. It is one of the premier races out Zwift. These guys have been organizing races for over a year. And this is a kind of race that's a little bit more gamified. There are power-ups allowed at all times. All the bikes are jump on a TT bike or use a regular road bike. Of the riders who are part of the race should have their name followed by, if they are part of a team, like you see Tim Cartwright here with the KRT name on the right hand side of the course. Riders list there, as well as what category they are riding in. So he has a little A next. Doesn't have his name, but I think he registering riders that it's familiar with in it. We are seeing riders actually going off the front here. It looks like Jay White as well as Ray here, Spain with a so watts per absolutely turn it. Three. Looking at rider 2 of racing. I am getting all these stats over organized. Of racing. We also have Seafood, it looks like out of Great Britain, a little bit off the front as well. I think a few riders are that have just shown up and gone off the front. Maybe they got caught off guard. Rider 2 gotten a jump on them, or maybe they think Zada's going to bring a hammer down on them. Out. It's where Zada starts painting. I think they maybe are just confident that they'll bring these boys back into the fold as they come around the lap. We have Mr. Jonathan Noblet hang that over.
Hey, it's good to be here, Nathan. Yeah, it's looking like a good race. You know, we had a bit of a long race the past few weeks. We had 62 kilometers last Thursday in the Kiss Road race. So today's race at 32.2 kilometers, 5 laps, about a little leading non-warm-up up to the Classique course. It's going to be a fast-paced race today for all the categories, as they're all going to do 5 laps together.
Yeah, and so what we'll do is as riders finish up their laps here, to jump back over category. So follow is all the way up through, jump over category, as I am still follow up though. We'll keep riders on nowadays that we keep within the event module in order to be able to follow these specific, and that's awesome. It means a lot more people for everybody to ride with. But as when we're trying to go through a race broadcast, we got to make sure the list on the right hand side within a reasonable amount of riders to follow. So it looks like in we do have this bit of that's something going on with. Oh, I see. Checkity. I think we should be good. We maybe just had a noise gate that was just a little bit high, but we should be good now. I'll make sure to check out our chats and see what is happening. I had a little bit of reports of a mic issue there, but I think we should be just fine. Apologies on that. Tim Cartwright here, 5.1 watts per kilogram now on the front of this group, it looks like, hammering away. And from the KRT team, this is a rider who has absolutely demolished yeah, Quentin is saying way better. That's because we just had a noise gate on again, guys. And that's actually a lesson for all you guys that want to start streaming. Zwift, one of the main setup issues with streaming Zwift, there's a lot of people who have shown a lot of interest in, like, how do I get involved in live streaming this? And we've had a group of people that are starting to really get trained up into live streaming and getting a quality stream going. And one of the main things is having a lot of background noise in the room that you are going to be streaming in. And so your a noise gate on your software is really, really important to have. And so I had my noise gate set up for last night. We did a ride with an individual that also streams, and it was mainly a gamer that streams. And we actually got him to start streaming Zwift and riding in Zwift and trying to get in trying to get in shape and come back from some injuries and things. And this rider, you know, getting involved in this, had to figure out how to get this whole setup going with that noise gate so that he didn't have a whole bunch of trainer noise and chain ring noise and all this other fan noise, because you're obviously going to need a fan if you're riding indoors in Zwift. And so the noise gate, I think last night I had it set at like 18 decibels is all it would let through, because there's so much noise going into the room. And so when you're just broadcasting normally and you're talking to the mic normally, you want to have usually somewhere around 25 to 35 decibels. And so we were set way down at 18 for the bike specifically, so that we could stream Zwift without a bunch of noise while I was riding. And so now we got, it looks like Hedgehog. Actually, this is a rider that I haven't seen go off the front in a while. And so it looks like Sonic is working right alongside Cartwright here from the KRT to try and maybe cause a little bit of mayhem at the front of the pack today. Johnny, you think maybe a setup here for the KRT to try and get a win for Hedgehog?
Yeah, well, I do think they could be setting something up there, because there's only 2 of them in there, and there's not many other teams who have got more than just one individual rider in there. Like, there's no one else from Team Experimental with Frank, and there's no one there from ODZ with Boniface either. So these guys are probably going to use their power of their numbers and really try and set up Tim for a bit of a break if Sonic there just keeps on the front of the pack for a bit longer.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of the riders have been isolated a little bit, and it's just going to be the KRT boys that are going to be able to work together with Frank Garcia from Team Experimental. Some people might be wondering what is going on with the teams out on Zwift. There are lots and lots of teams that you can get involved with. Some that are mainly just focused on getting rides in together. I know that the CIS coaching group that Scotty Weiss and Katrina Weiss hang out with a lot and run a lot of rides with out on Zwift are one of the groups that have a team in Zwift, but they are mainly focused on hanging out in group rides and doing training rides. But then there's also teams that are focused a little bit more on racing and camaraderie in racing, like the KRT team that we're looking at right here, the KISS Racing team, obviously being set up by some of the race organizers, is obviously going to be a lot more focused on racing. We've also got Tim Cartwright just absolutely hammering with this power up actually to get away from the pack, causing a huge gap. And that was actually a very tactical use of a power up as they were coming through the lap section of the course right there. He's going to grab another power up.
Wow.
And he went ahead and used it right away because he got a little bit of the RNG, the random numbers game was not quite in his favor right there, because the plan was probably, I'm going to use this arrow power up going through, and let's see if I can double up on the arrow power up as soon as it ticks through and gives me a new power up. But instead, he grabbed a drafting power up. Sometimes I wonder while I'm riding along in Zwift, if I use a drafting power-up as I fly by other avatars, does that give me a little bit of advantage? Because when you're suffering at 178, 180 beats per minute, trying to get a breakaway from a large group of guys who are all throwing down 4.5 to 5 watts per kilogram, you got your head down trying to do everything you can to stay away from them. You know that you're trying to get every single ounce of speed, every little bit of power into those pedals as you possibly can, and advantage as you possibly can. And so but maybe he was just throwing down that power up to get rid of it and not have to think about it later. He probably had his hand just sitting over the use power up button so that he could continue on with that high speed, you know, after he'd used that arrow power up through the start finish line.
Yeah, that arrow power-up is, you know, one of many power-ups we do have in-game, and that provides you a 30-second burst of reducing your frontal area of your avatar, so you actually kind of go a lot faster on the flat sections and on the downhills, and that 30 seconds is a great time to use that on that course there. And I think maybe he did just waste that, you know, choose to waste that drafting power-up and maybe lifted off the pedals a little bit just because he didn't want to draft off riders who are not in the race. It's not very etiquette to do that, so a bit of a gentleman ride in there just to kind of lift his power off a little bit, I think, just so he didn't benefit from that totally, but wanting to waste it nonetheless.
So it looks like he has been joined by M. Larson, Johnny. So 2 riders off the front, but it's only 7 seconds now at this point between these two and the large chase group that is trying to bring them back in. We do have Brett Boniface, one of the favorites usually to win, coming out of Canada, riding for the ODZ team. But as you can see, he has that orange kit on that you can be awarded every lap. Well, you can be awarded on the full London lap. If you do the original forward or backwards, you can get a orange jersey. They're currently going forward out on course today. And so on the classic course, so it is registering him as having the orange jersey from a previous effort, and I have a feeling that that might be because he was out riding. Obviously, I know it's because he was out riding just prior to this, but was that from a prior race? And I know he usually does a double up.
Yeah, he did actually do a double up today. So Brett Boniface from ODZ coming out of Canada, he actually did the ZTR race just before this. So that was it was 3 laps of the London Loop course. So it's when you go up Box Hill and right around. And I'm just currently looking at his Zwift power to see if we can find what his position was, and we'll give you a bit of an update in that. But it looks like
I got him at 4th place with a nice big orange Zada badge right next to his name.
Yeah, there we are.
And so good to see that, because we're seeing, I mean, he put down a solid for an hour and 1 minute and 53 seconds, 4.76 watts per kilogram actually, for the duration of the race. So Boniface already with a huge effort, now probably absolutely suffering, has burned quite a few matches today already, probably now having to put out 7.7 watts per kilogram or so, 173 beats per minute, 484 watts to try and hang on with this group right now. And we've got feather power-ups being thrown down left and right. Garcia, the sprinter, this is the definitely a man who wants to wait for the last few Ks to sit in on a train, and if he gets into the last 300 meters with any riders here, I think it's curtains for them. But he's got to hang on at this point, and they're going to really want to get rid of Frank prior to that last 300 kilometers in the race today. They are going to be doing one more lap here out on the classic course, a total of 32.2 kilometers today for the distance for all the categories today. And so in the A race, Garcia, if he can hang on for one more lap and here's the thing, it's if the whole group, I think, is able to hang on to the attacks of Cartwright and Boniface and the likes of, I think maybe Jay White might be a threat in here. A newer rider, I've never seen him out here before, but I'm getting a feeling that this might be a strong rider that can hang on. He is on a real power meter according to ZwiftPower.com. He's put out a crazy amount of wattage though so far, and he will get the flag, putting out 5.6 so far. That is a crazy effort, and so will Calibre actually up at the front. They will both get a flag, and then they will be asked by Zada to provide some files, and that's just at the A category, just to keep things in check. They only do those checks up at the highest level, just so everybody knows. Boniface here, along with Ostring and Cartwright, it looks like, all back together now. Garcia now 4.9, 5.9 watts per kilogram. Hedgehog has fallen off the back, and this is what we're talking about. Going through Trafalgar, up toward the Trafalgar Square, that is that only spot on the course where there's really any uphill gradient that can cause any kind of break usually out on course, because otherwise it's usually Grupo Compacto. As you can see, Garcia heading to the front, 3.0 watts per kilogram or so. Things are starting to settle down, 49 kilometers per hour. And as we look over their shoulders, we look at them pan through here, you can see that the group is starting to settle in, and everybody's trying to find a spot where they can get a good draft. But now we do see Cartwright heading toward the front, 4.1. But again, it's nothing that's a serious attack. They have dropped a few off here through this next, through the climb up toward Trafalgar Square. And Hedgehog 15 seconds back now. We thought maybe KRT was going to be able to play some games, but instead it's just going to be mano a mano at the front of the race today.
Yeah, and it's going to be a good race. I'm a little look online. It looks like Brett Boniface, we did talk about how he's just done 2 races. I think he's actually going to do the triple Zwift today, and he's maybe going to be doing possibly the ZTR race later on this evening if he hasn't already done another race today so far. So that is some guy who's really trying to get some races in his legs, maybe trying to get a few points on a new point system that has entered the Zwift world as well.
His feed says, so according to somebody over in chat of Beam, his feed says BB triple attempt on Zwift. So we'll see if that also might be triple jersey. So we'll have to grab him in Discord at some point maybe and see if he has something something to say about whether or not he's going for a triple. Because there's a pretty big gap between the races. So maybe he'll grab a recovery drink, sit down for a little while, and jump into the ZTR later tonight. And so we do, then it looks like Ostrong. I'm going to look at some of the peak power numbers here from these riders and see what their 15-second power is, because that's going to give us a good idea here. Ostrong, a lot of times the Norwegian rider here riding for HIL, a lot of times is someone to watch out for in the final K. Garcia, if he can hang on all the way to the end, is going to also be a threat. We do see him, it looks like, jumping real quickly there to get up toward the front. If Garcia does not get dropped through this final time up and over the top of Trafalgar Square, we are going to see one of the sprints we haven't seen in a while, actually. I think it's been a long time since we've seen Garcia be able to hang on with the lead group and throw down that sprint that we love to see. We'll have to see if he can make it happen today. We do have the chase group now that has caught up with the Hedgehog, I believe. Bruno Vieira is here. Oh no, Hedgehog's a minute 17 up from them, excuse me. So Oxenham here from a Team Experimental, a teammate of Mr. Frank Garcia, is hanging in and amongst these boys, it looks like, right along with Gendros, Bruno Vieira, and Kay Brown, it looks like. And hopefully now we can come around the corner and get back up to the boys that are in the front. But Bergtund here out of Norway with Oxenham, Viberg, Wall, S. Gray is there. Van Bond is here as well out of the Netherlands. And then Barroso is off the back from the PTZ, it looks like. Gonna keep on moving back, actually, I think, and see if we can populate a little bit of the Zwift riders nearby. A. Martins is here with Mitchell, all in no man's land, trying to get back up toward the front of the race here, it looks like. Jay Punter's there as well. Actually, maybe we should just keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. Bergton here, Viberg. Maybe Barholm will help us out here. So it looks like then we are looking at the, it looks like, wow, is there only 16 in the A's? No, a huge group of B riders have actually caught the A riders, it looks like, out on course. Basalt is in there with the B riders, it looks like, currently sitting in first place. T. Parker followed by Rick Barbera in third, the last time they went through the checkpoints with ZwiftPower.com, actually. So good to see Basalt's well-known rider actually coming out of Canada amongst the Zwift community, getting lots of mentions in a lot of the YouTube videos. I know Shane Miller did a YouTube video, was having a chat about that. We also had a chat about him in Zwiftcast. So I was actually able to meet Basaltz and his brother, Get to the Choppa, that's their in-game names, at the Zwift Tour NA Vancouver event. It was great to meet them in person. They hang out a lot actually in the streams almost every single day. So it looks like he's out racing today, throwing down everything he's got in the B race to try and grab, it looks like, going for first place today. So we'll see if he can make that happen.
Yeah, well, it looks like Cartwright's pushing again over the top, and he's got Jay White and Boniface only about 5 meters behind him, as it looks like Jay White is, Coulebre is about to fly past him now as they go down the strand.
Yeah, and so if they're on their way down the strand, are you able to see whether or not Garcia has made the group? I'm going to keep on trying to get back to the leaders.
It looks like he had a bit of a dropout as his power went right down to zero a couple of times, and he's now dropped back from that group.
Man,
So
that's got to be like 15 seconds too. I mean, that
yeah,
is
he's going right back.
Absolutely huge. And it looks like there's a big old WBR ride coming through right now. That's the World Bicycle Relief, as you guys can see right here, coming through. And I think it's causing some population to take place for us. I wonder, Johnny, I haven't tried this in a while. If I push escape right now and then end ride, will I stay where I am watching this rider, I wonder?
I think you'll
I'll
jump
go
back to the
back to my
pens.
guy. Yeah, I'll go back to my
Yeah,
guy. Okay.
but the guys that
Gotcha.
have just gone onto the Flamme Rouge now. The guys at the front of the race. Have you got the eyes on the front of the race, Nathan, in the A category?
I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there. We are. Cousins needs to go a lot faster. No, I'm just kidding. Steven Cousins out here, probably streaming his race actually over at Beam.pro. One of the guys I know who does some streaming over on the live streaming website Beam.pro. So he's probably out there streaming right now. We are waiting on the.
Well, we have got Celebre coming out of Spain has just made the break. The early sprints. He's got another 200 meters to go. As we've got Jay White who's pushing up behind him at 11 watts per kilogram. And it looks like Jay White is just going to catch up to him. As we've got 100 meters to go, Jay White does take the lead in the sprint with the aero power up. He pops the aero power up and goes over the line with 1 second gap above Celebre, with Udinara coming out of Spain in third, followed by Brett Boniface in fourth and Tim Cartwright in fifth position, just ahead of Larson.
That is unexpected result, actually. I was really expecting to see Boniface maybe be able to throw down, but it looks like the race just prior to this one did cause some his legs to not quite be able to throw down in that last 200-300 meters. So ES here out of Norway with C Head out of Great Britain, just about to head up through the hall here into Trafalgar Square and battling out in the A race.
Yeah, that was a good sprint from the A race there. You know, Celebre went really early on that sprint, but White just got in with that aero power, bit of RNG in his favour there, just to take that W in the Kiss Road race today.
And so Jay White here looks like new racer to the world of Zwift racing. Celebre I've seen raced before, but he doesn't have anything in the last 2 weeks, and he's actually doesn't have his name is blacked out over on ZwiftPower.com. I thought I've seen this right. Incorrect. We do have. Yeah, go ahead.
We've definitely seen Celebre race before, as I know he was pretty good on the climbs up Box Hill in some previous ZTR and Kiss races. So maybe the flat course, he's maybe got a bit of the goat's legs for going up the hill, but not so much power in the diesel engine on the flat courses to maintain that sprint.
And so it looks like we do have a few other riders coming in from the A race here in just a moment. We do have El Van Bond just about to cross. Leon Van Bond just crossing. It looks like somewhere within the top 20. It looks like he was in about 16th place the last time he came through for ZwiftPower.com. And it looks like a few of these B riders are just about to finish up their race as well. I'm going to actually see if I can avoid some of the A boys so I don't actually go back into the event module, and perhaps we'll be able to catch the end of the B race. I think we will be able to do so in just a second here. Do you have eyes on exactly where? I think it's going to be R. Svensson, who's put out crazy watts per kilogram. He'll definitely get a marker from the ZwiftPower.com. But C. Tarbet, I think, is leading things out in the B race, trying to finish up that 36K. We're going to be looking for the B racers who are coming in right around 36K. I think Jay Punter here at 33.4, part of the KISS B race. I'm going to keep on moving back here. We do have some C racers here bringing their ride through here at 3.2, 2.9 watts per kilogram. 1 lap to go for these boys. And this may be the front. We'll have to see. El Ulrich is in there out of Switzerland, leading the C race with A. Pankarats and C Banger. So this is the front, I think, right here of the C category race. We'll come back to these boys as soon as we catch the finish of the Bs, as I have a feeling they're going to be coming in to the finish line in just a moment here. And this looks to be another lap to go for D. Jones and L. Larson. And Nakagawa as well, 32.9, it looks like, so not a part of the race. Jay Jobber here out of France now, just coming across the line in the A race, finishing up his race, as well as Studzard. out of Norway. And a few more A racers coming into the line here. Cousins here with Haggerty now battling out right to the line, it looks like. Cousins with Haggerty. Haggerty with one last second push there actually gets the better of Steven Cousins at the line with that arrow power up for the KRT team, actually.
Yeah, we have got the front of, I do believe it is the front of the B race at the moment with C Tarbert just coming around that little roundabout at Trafalgar Square and about to head underneath Admiralty Arch to head onto the Mall. And he's got a group, it looks like it's going to be a good bunch sprint here, Nathan, with C Tarbert, C Nicholas, Rick Barbera, and I do believe also BJ Alfonso from Team PTZ is also in that group as he pushes out for a early sprint with the aero power up in that sprint group there in front of the B race.
They're not in the they're not quite at the 1K mark then, are they? No.
They're just
no, there they are. Right. Okay, here we go. So now we do have BJ Alfonso here coming through. It looks like 8.6 watts per kilogram, followed very closely by Rick Barbera here, 8.7. And then Nichols looks to be taking third in the B race right now. Tabret now in fourth, just crossing the line. So that was the sprint for the B category there. And moving through, we are going to be able to see then the C category in just a moment. We do have some of the A's still finishing up with Jake Lopez and Hoger out of the US of A.
Yeah, so all the guys in all the categories today are doing 32.2 kilometers of racing, 5 laps of this course. We do see some staggered starts of different race lengths in the KISS Road races. But today the organisers, maybe after having a busy week with some long races last week, have decided to put on a race where all the categories are going to do all the same racing, which means everyone's going to put out a nice, good effort all together today in this KISS Road race.
Yeah, and so it looks like 5 laps. They're going to be finishing. I mean, the C's are going to be finishing right around 41 minutes or so. Well, I'm sorry, about 40 to 50 minutes or so. So still within an hour for the C category. So I think it should be. It's still a good effort, and 5 laps, nice and short. I think for the A's, not too long. I don't think for the. So we do have C Banger here. I believe this is the front of the C category race according to what I'm seeing over at zwiftpower.com. L Ulrich as well out of Switzerland, it looks like, maybe off the front with these boys, and there will be a few upgrades, it looks like, in this C category, putting out over 3.2 watts per kilogram. But congratulations to them with their upgrade, and we will definitely follow all of it here. I think this will be a solid effort for that is totally fine that they're part of this category, as long as they upgrade after they put out the wattage that is over category. Make sure to be checking your results over at zwiftpower.com for what categories you should be in. If you get a little UPG next to your name, that means upgrade to the next category. So you're racing against individuals who have about the same ability as you are.
Yeah, and I think it shows, how great a workout Zwift racing can be. You know, some of these guys who started only sometimes a few weeks ago, at a lower point in the categorization in what category they are, and you can progress pretty quickly if you start doing the races on a regular basis. Chasing people in this virtual world is no better motivation when you're sat on an indoor bike. And whether you're in your shed, in your living room, or sometimes outside trying to cool down, definitely a way to get fit and get those little bit of exercise points that you do want in your life.
So it looks like M. Smith is getting some exercise points right now, as he is going off the front right now with a 1 second gap over A. Boulevard and H. Williamson right now, 31.5 kilometers in, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a break for the day, as we do have our Osborne out of Great Britain as well, getting right back onto his wheel. It looks like Williamson, Smith, Boulevard, Sebang out of Ireland here with a little feather power up hanging onto the wheel of our Osborne. So Osborne now trying to hang on, as it looks like Banger is trying to do everything he can to get away from this group. 4.0 watts per kilogram, but it's not going to happen. We're going to have Mosley, Boulevard, Osborne, Williamson, Smith, and Banger all coming in to that final kilometer Getter. A Waters from the TFC team is here as well. The Friday Criterium team. They use that yellow kit, that CRCA kit, as you can see. And it looks like Oxenham is near these boys, just cooling down actually from the A race. Watching these guys come into that 1K mark, and this is going to be it for the C race, I believe, for the win, as Williamson makes the charge at the front right now. 3.8, 3.5 watts per kilogram. Bolivant as well at 3.1 or so.
Yeah, and we do see some pretty impressive sprints from these C and D category riders. You know, we do see some fast racing from the A and B riders, but the guys in the C and D categories have some really strong, powerful legs, as we do see P. Mosley kick those legs into top gear just to get a bit of a jump on the other guys in that front brake.
Yeah, 7.3 watts per kilogram coming from Mosley there real quickly. It looks like he was trying to get back onto Bolivant's wheel there, and now they do have a little 1 or 2 second gap, but here's the thing, did they waste too much energy early on before they hit that last 200 to 300 meters? And as Osborne is ramping up behind, if Bolivant and Mosley do not have another kicker, if they're not willing to continue on with the effort, they're going to be caught, and that looks to be what's happening. But Bolivant does have, it looks to be, just a 6-meter gap over Smith. He's using that drafting power up just in case anybody comes around him. 7.1 watts per kilogram or so. Smith is going, but Osborne looks to have the day with 900 watts and 10 watts per kilogram. Solid effort, 194 beats per minute, followed closely, it looks like, by Bolivant. I think got it followed by Smith, but we'll have to wait for the official results over at zwiftpower.com as they get marked as they come across the line there. But that was a killer sprint there right at the end by Bolivant, hammering out that killer 900 watts real quick. Just as you were saying, usually we see some crazy sprints in the C and D categories. Usually some huge waters getting thrown down on the flat course here. And now we do have Rob Jones trying to get away from L. Roberts. Roberts is sprinting out. I don't think even a part of the race there, actually. I think he's just going for the sprint jersey out on course. The current fastest time from Jay White at 10:17, actually.
Yeah, you know, so the C riders, you know, the legs and they got on them on the sprints we see, you know, some of these guys, you know, they're not always got the highest, you know, the highest kind of gradual power, you know, the highest FTP, but sometimes those peak critical powers at the 1 minute level, you know, they get some really, you know, high power at those levels. So when we see the sprints in the C and D categories, are usually very exciting. The guys stick together, and that's the sort of finishes we typically see in those categories, whereas the A and Bs, we sometimes see breaks off the front or attacks on the climbs.
And so we do have, in these, like you're saying, in these races, the FTP might not be super high with the C and D categories like you were saying, but when they come in for that final sprint, man, they a lot of times see some of the strongest sprints. I think Stockpick is a rider that I would think of right away, usually, who has a killer sprint. And the interesting thing is that when you start working on FTP, you do lose a little bit of sprint sometimes. A lot of times, you know, that's the difference between the track sprinter and the road cyclist, that, you know, there's a lot of times going to be a big difference between those two types of riders as far as FTP goes. And so the track cyclist having a lower FTP might not do real well in a road race unless specifically trained for. But if, you know, and vice versa, if you try and get on the track as just a road racer, or maybe for me, XC mountain biker, if I try to jump on the track, it's all about FTP for me. I just need to be able to go really fast uphill. And so these boys, maybe a lot of them coming from the track. I know Stockpick, I think, though, has lost a little bit of his sprint as he started working on FTP. That was a topic that was being talked about by a few of the TFC boys.
Yeah, and speaking of Stockpick, he was just passed by the two Leeds D riders as they just headed up past Horse Guards Parade and turned right onto the strands. We do have M. Sachdev coming out of the United States. He's just passing the Flamme Rouge on the opposite side of the strand, out on course right now, with R. Copperson coming out of the Netherlands, just 4 seconds behind him. So these two guys are going to be fighting it out for that first and second place in the D category today.
So I am taking a look here, almost there. I am with S. Doss now, and we're jumping around just a little bit though, so we're almost back up to where there's a huge WBR ride, it looks like, still out on course here with M. Anthony actually hanging out there, apart from Zwift staff, actually out on a ride with the WBR boys right now. So it looks like we are about to have a sprint in the D category. And are they just about coming in? I mean, they're probably just finishing.
He's M Sachdev is actually just going underneath the Flamme Rouge now, the 1 kilometer arch, just as he heads into Trafalgar Square.
So they're right with it, looks like. Actually, M. Anthony is actually a part of the race today. I don't know. He has Kiss B in his name. Maybe jumped in and then decided to do the WBR ride instead, as he is hanging out with the WBR boys. All right, we're going to let them fly by. We're going to hang out with JP here out of Canada for a minute and wait for the riders to come into view. As thank you, JP, for the assistance there. Now, okay, I think we're looking at, you were saying, Sachdev here out of the USA. Yep, with K Matt. Looks like him and D-Doob out of Canada are making their way to the line, trying to hold off Knopperson, it looks like, in this D category race. Y Kai, they're out of Japan, it looks like, hanging on with Knopperson about 6 seconds back, but it looks like Sachdev is going to be leading this out. But here comes Doob from ODZ. ODZ kit on, but has ODZ in the name. Maybe it's a part of an ODZ ride.
Yeah. He has got it looks like he's also got a few laps left. He's maybe just having to ride out. He's looks like he's sprinting. Like he's going for the sprint anyway.
He's going for the sprint, but he's got a couple
there we go.
laps to go. Good job to D-Doob. Sachdev now coming across the line. First place for the D category. Able to drop off Knopperson, who is holding off, it looks like, Y Kai. So great job to him on that second place finish. We do have one lap to go, it looks like. The next one coming across the line for third place would be La Rose out of Great.
Yeah, so it's great to see the guys there. You know, people from all different categories. You know, some of these people, they might be out there racing all the time in real life. This is their winter training, or some people, they might just be doing this as a bit of a motivation to get themselves off from having a few lazier days rather than sitting at home. They might be getting on here to kind of get their body, the blood circulating around their body a bit more. So racing is a good way to get that out on Zwift and keep yourself active. As we did see, as the race is kind of coming to a close, we did actually see a rider who got into Zwifting just yesterday on one of the community channels, KW Elion Nathan. He's a rider who, a new rider out on Zwift who just went for his first ride yesterday.
Yeah, so I did do a post over on the Zwift Riders page. We'll have a little chat here at the end of the race about the results and everything. But I did do a post on Zwift Riders yesterday about KW, a veteran actually, who is 100% disabled, who we've gotten into Zwifting through the social platform of live streaming, and pretty amazing story. He's just starting out, just getting going into the world of Zwift. He did his first ride yesterday, actually, out on Zwift. And we all got into his channel and encouraged him on to complete that. How much did he complete? I think he completed 8 miles and a little over an hour or so. Absolutely amazing. Again, 100% disabled and trying to now get back on the horse, get back in shape, get his life back together as far as all that goes with his physical disabilities that have held him back. And Zwift being able to jump on with this whole community with cycling made social through Zwift, it's giving him this new power in his life, which is absolutely awesome. And I'm really encouraged. Actually, he had contacted me through the live streaming that I was doing and had noticed what I was up to. And he was like, so you're like a coach and do all this other stuff. So what's the deal? And I just stuck it to him. I was like, man, if you're for real about this, this is what you got to do. You got to invest this, this, and this to get the setup, you know, so let's get you on it as inexpensively if you can, see if you like it. And he just went for it. And last night his channel was blowing up, and we want to see more and more stories like that, actually, that we actually would love to highlight. We would love to highlight as many of those kind of stories as we possibly can through our Zwift Community Live channels. If you're unfamiliar with what Zwift Community Live is, it is our new place on all live streaming platforms that we are highlighting individuals, races, events in the community through live streaming. So that's the kind of stuff that we want to highlight in that place. So we are seeing though with the results today, according to ZwiftPower.com right now, Charles Hode took the W off the front, but they just let him go. But he put out only 4.7 miles per kilometer. I have a feeling that that is going to be a result that's going to stand unless there's over at ZwiftPower.com. Then it was followed by Johnny White at 5.7, which is going to get a mark. Then Juan Culebre at 5.5, and then Juan Onandia, yeah, was there as well. And so I think Brett Boniface is going to be the next one who is not going to be flagged. There is a with the Zada approval. So it looks like 1, 2, 3 seconds were his best results in the last 2 weeks. So he's got a 4th and a 5th on the day with his triple attempt, it looks like, so far before the official results come. So Charles Hode, and then I'm going to say Brett Boniface and Michael Larson in the A category for the top 3, just according to what I'm seeing from the watts per kilogram that may be flagged by ZwiftPower.com. Then in the B category, we have BJ Alfonso with the win, actually, followed by Rick Barbera in 2nd place for the KRT team, and then Craig Nichols was taking a 3rd place in the B category today. In the C category today, we do have, it looks like, a whole lot of upgrades. Congratulations to all you guys that are in, it looks like, the top 10 or so that are getting upgrades out of the C category, but Aaron P, followed by Rob Osborne and Mike Smith, all take a top 3 and awesome upgrades to the B category. Then we do have in the D category, looking through here, M Sachdev also with an upgrade, just barely, to the C category. So looking like he's going to get stronger and stronger, racing against a few of the other riders in the C category next time. Knopperson here also in the D category with a 2nd place, followed closely by A. LaRose out of Great Britain there in the category. So make sure to head on over to ZwiftPower.com, look for your results over there, and it will give you all kinds of readouts about what your average power was, watts per kilogram, what your heart rates were, max heart rates were, what place you came in, all that kind of stuff. Should be updated within, I think, an hour or 2 by the race organizers. The other thing is, if you do get an upgrade, it'll tell you within the next 24 hours or so over there. So make sure to check back with next race with that new category that you have earned. Next up on the live streaming world, Johnny, tonight I think we may have some ZR action coming at everybody through the Zwift Community Live channels, and then we will be back tomorrow as well with some racing on Friday, perhaps with the Friday Criterium and a few other events, I believe. But then next Tuesday will be the next time that we will be live here on Zwift's Facebook. So make sure to watch out for that with the KISS races. And anything else, Johnny? Good race today. Solid effort.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, it was a great race. You know, it's great to see the riders there from all the categories. In the past few weeks, we've had different races with different lap amounts. So sometimes we've missed some of the B's and C riders. So it's great to be able to highlight people from all abilities at all different levels of racing. Definitely a great. The only other thing is, yeah, if people check out the Zwift Community Live Facebook page and all the other channels, we will be doing some replays from different events on there, and doing some racer rider focus. Just for the race today, we did have Casey Shum from the Team Experimental racing in the ZTR race. So if you want to have a look back at what it is like to race for first person, you'll be able to check out his racing out on there as well.
Great. All right, again, thanks everybody for tuning in. Great job to all the racers today in the KISS EU night race, and we will see you real soon, actually, for my ride, actually, out on my personal stream. But then we'll also see everybody out in the world of Zwift Facebook next week, Tuesday, for the... Here's everybody, and happy...